This was a video I hoped I'd never make. However, I think I've hit a wall that I'm quite frankly done trying to climb over. I've been in this community a while now, and I've seen trends up and down. However, I'm watching people make the same mistakes and do the same things that cracked the foundation of the community in half. There's a few things to blame for this. The first is the bullheaded unwillingness the community has to stand up for one another. We are supposed to support and take care of one another, but in recent months and in multiple situations, y'all will claim support behind the scenes, but say nothing and do nothing when it counts. I've had to sit with friends who are heartbroken and devastated and afraid that not a single person in this community will stand up for them against monsters saying the worst possible shit. Things we as a community know and recognize are lies and misinformation, but is allowed to propagate because not one person wants to draw fire. And you may be asking, why haven't I done that, if this is something that I'm so passionate about? And it's because I was asked not to, considering it was far too little and far too late, and I didn't want to do something that would make my friends uncomfortable. However, the whole time, at every turn, at every juncture, I said it was the right thing to do. In fact, so much so, it became a huge sticking point between me and some of my closest friends. I've also noticed that once again the community is lapsing into cliques and backroom dealings. I've seen it happen more than once, occasionally even to me. People who are a part of a community where we understand and discuss keep failing and taking into account the literal worst interpretation of literally anything said, as long as it's a critique of their own actions. There's been more than one incident, but I consulted the people slighted, and they didn't want me to name names. So I won't, and if you know who you are, I ask that you don't, and we let things sit, I guess. I can talk about my own issues with it, though. It's been a problem, repeatedly, for many years now, where I will give my opinion, occasionally even at the request of the person, and then I will have nonsense hurled at me because the person I was speaking to willfully misunderstood literally everything that came out of my mouth, and when I proceeded to clarify, I was somehow still in the wrong because I didn't add 1,000 asterisks to cushion what I was saying. I've been called overly aggressive. I've been called cruel. People have said I don't take criticism. When I've solved innumerable problems behind the scenes, both with friends and with other people, because I don't make my shit public unless it goes public without my knowledge or consent. I've never shown these tendencies. I've never continued these tendencies. And I'm getting really exhausted of having people who claim that they appreciate me and that they want me in this community continuing to perpetuate these things about me behind my back. Listen, maybe it's my autism, but when I say a thing, that's usually the only thing I mean by it. If I make a comment that I thought the sky was blue, I don't secretly mean that it's only blue on Tuesdays at 4:20 p.m. when the sun's out. And I'm exhausted of people asking me why I hate pancakes when I tell them I like waffles. Finally, I want to get into the straw that broke the camel's back. So Dalsmic was in contact with V Omega from as far back as 2022. I don't blame you if that's the first time you're hearing about it, because I only heard about it third hand through a friend. Not only that, but V openly admitted to sexually talking with a minor to Doll, who then told nobody. The whole situation was fumbled by the wider community. Namely, Ephraim hadn't been handling things. So for those of you who don't know, Ephraim has been self-elected the leader of the SCC courthouse, the server made so that conflict can be resolved. I spoke to Fractured Light, one of the members of the courthouse's archive chat. I learned 3 very important things from Light about that chat that absolutely tipped me over the fucking edge. 1. Pepper was being coaxed by Vigelsio to make contact with V, and after this situation with Dalsmik, having this call in the archive room to confirm the things that had been said, Pepper was not told about Doll's contact with V. In fact, Light was scolded for telling Pepper in the first place. 2. PokeSonic's groomer, Sigma Scott, has a new Snapchat account. PokeSonic was informed, not by Ephraim, but once again by Light, who had to break the rules of the chat. So she was not told that her groomer was active again. 3rd, and finally, this room, where all of these backroom dealings, dealing with predators and abusive people in the community, that room, nobody knew that it existed. It was not public knowledge until after I left courthouse. This information was so closely guarded that the people in the server that the chat was housed in did not know it existed. Namely, the server built to discuss dangers and conflict within the community. This is absolutely ridiculous, wildly inept behavior, and I cannot fucking believe the audacity to keep important information from victims and to keep the community in the dark about people that are active threats to its members. One more time for clarity. In the conflict resolution server, the person running it was hiding important information on groomers and dangers to the community from the community. You cannot write irony like that. Ephraim also said that he would make a video to inform people about Scott, much like the video he just made to inform people about Dalsmik. It's been 3 weeks. Ephraim has put out 5 other videos since then, one of them a 50-minute long video on Razor Fist. Good to see where your priorities lie. What this whole thing boils down to is that I'm too fucking exhausted and irate with this community to play babysitter anymore. I'm done losing hair, I'm done losing sleep, I'm done losing joy for a community that has done nothing but show me time and time again that I'm just gonna be a punching bag for trying to help. Nobody's listened to me. Nobody's treated me with dignity, nobody's treated me with respect for a very long time. And I don't feel like much has changed since 2018 for me, if I'm honest. I'm still constantly painted as a wild, rabid dog by anyone and everyone the moment I have a dissenting opinion, despite helping resolve innumerable conflicts behind the scenes. I'm done. I'm not playing mediator for you. I'm gonna let you all make the same mistakes, and I will continue to be Cassandra, sitting here and waiting for you to cut my head off. So to answer your question, Meta, that you've been so diligently asking for months, no. I am not making commentaries ever again. Goodbye.